Tonight, a rough and rainy ride. A super soaking opening up more trouble.
Suspension damaging, vehicle disabling potholes.
From the roads to the rivers. Mega merger set.
One that would strengthen watershed management.
An updated plan to consolidate conservation authorities and the concerns.
Come and talk to us first rather than just force these changes upon us.
Along the Grand River watershed. Plus, back on his feet.
Valor is living up to his name tenfold.
A pup who captured hearts.
Valor will need a very special family, and he will give a lot back to them.
Now ready to call someplace home.
Good evening. From our rivers to the roads, the heavy rainfall that's been hammering southern Ontario is creating all kinds of hazards tonight. Flood watches and warnings remain in place along the Grand River watershed, while potholes and fog are creating double trouble on the drive. CTV's Karis Mapp joining us now live once again along the banks of the Grand River for more on the impact of all of this rain. Karis.
Well, Tony, I was reporting live here yesterday at this exact time, and I really could not believe how high that water was. Surprisingly today, after all that rain, the water levels have actually gone down a little bit, but you can see behind me, crews with the City of Kitchener still stopping by to put up that trail closed sign, just really warning people about the dangers that come with this high water and the flooding that's still ongoing. And it's not just the rivers that are being impacted. A big focus today was also on road conditions. Police were warning people and drivers specifically about pooling, which created slippery surfaces and the chance of losing control, hydroplaning if you're going too fast. The change in temperature also leading to a lot of mist and fog, lowering visibility on roads. But here's a big one. All of that water was also hiding some of the giant potholes that have opened up on streets and highways all over the place.
Hiding under many of those puddles may very well be suspension damaging, vehicle disabling potholes, and that is not a risk you want to take. Potholes are in low-lying areas, and water collects in low-lying areas, and that's exactly the problem that we see out there. And as much as we're trying to get those potholes fixed and repaired, water loves to collect in those holes, and you may think it's just a small little puddle and not realizing it is a major depression that could really cause problems, blow a tire, wreck your rim, or even worse, wreck your suspension on your vehicle.
So the message really is take your time and even make sure those headlights are on. Actually, at one point today along the 401 in the GTA rather, they had to close a section of the highway due to flooding. So once again, take your time and make sure you're driving according to conditions. And rivers, once again, still a major concern when it comes to flood warnings and watches. We just recently spoke with the Grand River Conservation Authority, and we'll have more on their message later tonight at 11:30. Tony.
Okay, Karis, thank you. CTV's Karis Mapp live at Freeport near the Grand River in Kitchener. Those changing water levels, changing road conditions, it's all got to do with this big soaking that's just passed through, and we seem to be on the other side of it for now anyway. Let's head over to Ashley Bacon live at the weather wall for all of our details tonight. And I still see a lot of activity on the radar, but things have changed from a few hours ago.
That's right, Tony. Not so bad here in Waterloo region. We received just under 20 millimeters according to the weather station at the University of Waterloo. So by comparison to many of the areas east of us, we had it relatively light. As Tony just pointed out, the radar behind me, let's take a closer look at it. There's a lot to talk about on this radar map. Everything in green is rain. As we get into pink near Ottawa, that's freezing rain and potential ice accumulation. Up near North Bay, Sudbury, they're under a winter storm warning. So it's colder up there, they're getting more snow. So this storm is definitely still very present in many communities, but we have, at least for the most part, removed from that major path of wet stuff. We are going to see spotted showers through the next few hours, and that may convert into some flurries overnight, but we are through the thick of it. Right now in Waterloo region, we're sitting at a comfortable 10 degrees. It's the warmest we've felt throughout the day, which is great news, and a very nice westerly wind at 33 kilometers an hour. But overall, Tony, conditions are improving here, at least for now.
Okay, Ashley, thank you. A water-related story of a different kind now. The big shift with Ontario's conservation authorities. The province's plan for a mega merger appears to be set, and it's already raising questions along the Grand River watershed about why it's even happening. CTV's Spencer Turcotte live with new reporting on this for us tonight. Spencer, the GRCA will not be swallowed into as large of an area as originally planned.
Yeah, Tony, instead they'll merge with 3 other conservation authorities, essentially cutting the original proposed area in half, yet critics still have concerns.
Ontario currently has a fragmented system of conservation authorities.
The province is moving ahead with its plan to reduce the number of conservation authorities in Ontario. They've revealed a revised plan to boil the existing 36 down to 9 rather than 7.
It would mean stronger flood resilience, clearer processes for municipalities and permit applicants, and better support for housing and infrastructure projects.
The 9 regional bodies will operate under a new central agency called the Ontario Provincial Conservation Agency. Environment Minister Todd McCarthy says the new model will improve service while protecting local expertise.
One that would strengthen watershed management, improve service delivery, and continue to protect local knowledge and decision-making.
The Grand River Conservation Authority will merge with 3 others to form the Eastern Lake Erie Regional Conservation Authority. In the previous plan, the GRCA was grouped with a bigger portion of southwestern Ontario that stretched to Windsor. The new version essentially splits that in half. Green Party leader Mike Schreiner has concerns.
Well, it's just reckless on the part of the province to dismantle conservation authorities in the way they're doing it.
He worries the plan could undermine local decision-making and, in turn, put more control in the Premier's hands.
What's at stake is the ability for people on the ground who live locally, who understand this watershed, to be able to have the ability to make decisions to protect our homes, our property, our communities, people's lives and livelihood from flooding.
While the Minister of Environment says the government considered plenty of feedback from municipalities, Waterloo's mayor says not so.
The preference is come and talk to us first rather than just force these changes upon us and forcing us to constantly react.
Compounding those frustrations, she says, is the fact that municipalities pay the majority of costs for conservation authorities. Despite the displeasure, the consolidation is expected to begin this spring and be complete by early 2027. Now, the province says no jobs will be lost and that local experts will remain central to conservation work, but that raises even more questions from critics about why this is even being done in the first place. Tony.
Okay, lots more to come on this, I'm sure. Spencer, thank you. CTV Spencer Turcotte with the latest on the Conservation Authority mergers. In downtown Kitchener today, the latest sign of discontent over the province's changes to OSAP. Hundreds of local high school students braved the cold and rain to tell the Ford government that the switch will leave them paying a deeper price. CTV's Jeff Pickle was there.
On a cold, rainy day, hundreds of students from local high schools sending a message to the Ford government.
You know, university costs a lot, and I would love to have that help, and I think this is something we need to fight for.
Last month, the Ford government announced major changes to the OSAP structure. Under the old system, up to 85% of funding was offered in grants and the remaining 15% in loans. Under the new system, only 25% will be grants, the remaining 75% in repayable loans.
I grew up poor, so this, it feels like a specific threat to those who aren't as privileged.
Students say changes to OSAP create a more uncertain future.
As far as I understand, it's a really significant amount of money that's being taken away from students. It's not only a deterrent, but it's also just that much harder once you're actually there.
Some feel under the new model they may not be able to go to school at all.
I'm not going to be able to go to school without OSAP, without the funding. Nursing is such an incredible thing that I want to go into, but it's so expensive.
The government says the former model was unsustainable, and these changes are necessary to ensure the future of the program.
I'm a mom of 2 teenagers, and I don't think this is how we should be funding our post-secondary education, is cutting the funding for low middle-income students.
Kitchener Green MPP Ashton Clancy was at the rally. She says the new model is placing too much of a burden on young people.
And now this will just lead them to what's called a debt sentence. We're moving to an American style way of funding education, and it'll be off the backs of low and middle income students.
After a similar rally last week at the University of Waterloo,
Province-wide student strike! Province-wide student strike!
those most impacted by the new changes are doing everything they can to be heard. Jeff Bickle, CTV News, Kitchener.
Meanwhile, the province says elementary school teachers will no longer have to pay out of pocket for classroom supplies and will soon have access to an annual spending account. Critics, though, say the move is not addressing the chronic underfunding of Ontario schools. CTV's Siobhan Morris has details.
You can't make a masterpiece without them. Paintbrushes, paints, and paper, too.
And that's a dock?
Ontario is putting up $66 million of new funding to make sure they get into little hands.
The days of teachers having to, put their hands in their own pockets to pay for school supplies, those days are done.
The Premier unveiling a plan to give elementary teachers $750 this fall to stock up their classrooms.
I'm just so proud. I think this is the greatest thing I think we've ever done for public education.
So here's how it works. This card helps teachers get connected to a website that will be set up by late summer. From that site, they'll be able to order everything from markers to paper towels. Supply Ontario will be running it to maximize the buying power.
Opposition leaders say that portal won't be able to send what's actually needed.
There's no website that is going to get that young girl in school who needs an EA and EA. They can't click on that.
This announcement does nothing to make class sizes smaller, to keep rural or northern schools open, to keep our students safe and supported in their classrooms.
While the union that speaks for public elementary teachers appreciates the help,
the government is trying to make us believe that this is a gift that's being given prior to what is going to be probably a very contentious round of central bargaining.
ETFO is part of a group of leaders appealing to the education minister as he considers the structure of school boards.
Mend it, don't end it, and include us in the discussions.
The minister says he hasn't presented cabinet with options, including what to do with trustees. Those elected officials have been sidelined in 8 boards already. Nominations for this fall's elections open May 1st.
We are seeing critical decisions in several of our boards happening behind closed doors via appointed supervisors without transparency.
Paul Calandra says boards under supervision won't get their control back
until they are on the right path. Like, full stop. If it takes us 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, I don't care.
But he doesn't see it happening anytime soon. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The war in Iran is fast becoming an economic crisis, and it's all about oil and shipping. With Iran targeting vessels in the critical Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route for 20% of the world's oil. U.S. President Donald Trump is now threatening Iran with harsher punishments if it continues to target global oil and shipping. CTV's Joy Malvin brings us up to date now from Washington.
New video from Central Command shows the U.S. blowing up Iranian vessels suspected of laying mines near the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran has effectively closed the shipping lane, attacking more than a dozen oil tankers trying to pass, choking off the world's lifeline for oil, and sending energy prices soaring, triggering the largest release of emergency reserves thanks to oil-rich nations.
Our countries will be making 400 million barrels of oil available. I repeat, 400 million barrels of oil.
Canada helping to offset global shortages too.
Canada will do its part to contribute to the world's supply. That will bring prices down for Canadians. That will keep prices affordable for Canadians.
With the U.S. and Israel targeting Iranian military sites and Iran retaliating with a new wave of missile and drone attacks, President Donald Trump telling reporters,
right now, they've lost their Navy, they've lost their Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft apparatus at all, they have no radar, their leaders are gone, and we could do a lot worse.
The president promising to hit harder, but also saying the war is pretty much over.
Which is it? Is the war ending soon, or are we on the brink of the worst fighting yet?
Mixed messaging from Washington isn't going over well. Key Trump supporters like Joe Rogan publicly criticizing the war as a betrayal.
He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
With the new Supreme Leader, Iran insists it alone will decide the war's end, as the FBI now warns sympathizers or proxies could try to launch attacks on U.S. soil. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
Sign up for the CTV Kitchener newsletter and start your day in the know with the day's top stories, the latest forecast, and some must-see videos. You can sign up over on our website at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Well, just ahead, a new investigation into the region's water crisis. Plus, the fences are up ahead of St. Paddy's Day. The city of Waterloo warns street party enforcement in the University District is going to be different this year. We'll explain coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, you're going to want to have some salt handy in the morning. We're expected to dip down to below 0 temperatures overnight for the first time in a few days. And with all that rain, it could be icy. Those details with your full weather forecast coming up. Stay with us.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news. When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
A third-party investigation is being launched to try to find out what caused Waterloo Region's water capacity crisis and why it wasn't discovered sooner. Regional Council today approved a motion from Councillor Doug Craig to get the ball rolling. Regional officials announced months ago that the Mannheim service area serving Kitchener, Waterloo, and parts of Cambridge and the townships would not have enough water to support future growth. Since then, the region's tightened development rules and approved a few temporary measures, but Craig wonders why it wasn't flagged years ago.
Sitting here today, listening to all the discussion that is taking place about how we're moving forward and the situation we're in, and thinking to myself, we should have had this discussion 4 years ago, knowing that in the horizon, this was going to come up. And that's what this motion is all about. It's all about how did we get here and understanding how we got here and how we're going to make recommendations to make sure it doesn't happen again.
And the results of that third-party investigation are expected to come back to Regional Council by next year. The fences are up in part of Waterloo's University District tonight as the city looks to avoid problems with unsanctioned St. Patrick's Day street parties. Metal fences now line Ezra Avenue, which in the past has been the location for thousands of university students to hold unsanctioned street parties. Cameras also in place in some areas. This year, the city's revamped its nuisance bylaw, meaning charges could be filed for blocking sidewalks or streets and for ignoring police or bylaw requests to leave for safety reasons. And fines could be handed out for a list of infractions ranging from noise violations to littering. There's also a street parking ban in place in the University District this weekend and for part of next week. The crematorium at Woodlawn Memorial Park in Guelph is being shut down, and cremations will move to other nearby locations. Officials say the equipment cannot be repaired, and they're letting hundreds of prepaid customers know their options. CTV's Colton Weems has more.
Cremation will no longer be done at Woodlawn Memorial Park in Guelph as the aging equipment is coming to an end.
It had reached its life cycle. So unfortunately, they had to shut down operations here in Guelph.
The 80-acre historic cemetery has been leasing the crematorium out to Southwest Crematoriums since 2021. But Southwest determined the cremation equipment has reached its end and can't be repaired.
The retorts are completely shut down here now in Guelph. It was at the end of the year. And Southwest did investigate whether or not they could possibly put new retorts into the crematorium. With the age of this building, it's just not a good fit to retrofit new machines in this building. So unfortunately, they did have to shut down completely.
Now, Woodlawn does say they have around 500 customers who have already paid for a cremation, and they're giving them the option of either taking a full refund or being cremated at another facility.
Really, the only difference is that our prepaid cremation clients will not be cremated here in Guelph anymore. Their prepaid cremations will be honored at a Southwest facility, either in Waterloo or probably Milton would be another close one. They also have the option of reaching out to us, and we can provide them with a refund, and we are obligated to provide that refund with the interest earned back to the client.
Kit says this change has no impact on Woodlawn's operations as a cemetery, but they do operate as a charity, and losing the crematorium means they need to find other sources for funding.
It is a bit of a loss because we will be losing Southwest as a leasing customer to us, so we'll have to find a new revenue opportunity there.
While Kit says it is a loss for the community, she says Woodlawn Memorial Park is still evolving and will continue serving the community it has for more than 150 years. Colton Ween, CTV News, Guelph.
A new device being developed by University of Guelph researchers is promising new hope for Lyme disease patients. CTV's Pauline Chan has the story.
Diagnosing Lyme disease has been a challenge for decades. It's easy if you spot the telltale bullseye rash in the earliest stages of infection, but others will have to rely on a two-tier diagnostic test after other illnesses have been ruled out.
What that basically means is that it's looking at the patient's immune response for evidence that it's seen the pathogen.
So it doesn't detect the Lyme bacteria, only whether your immune system has ever reacted to it. If the bacteria has not been in your system long enough for an immune response, you'll get a false negative. And if you had Lyme long ago, but then had another more recent infection, the test is also useless. But a new device, known for now as the Lyme biosensor, promises to revolutionize Lyme testing by looking for the bacterium itself.
We see it as finding a needle in a haystack.
It's hiding. And so there's typically not enough material to trigger a positive on these biochemical or molecular assays. So that's why we've been stuck in this immunological model of testing for Lyme disease.
It only takes a fraction of a drop of blood for their test.
So that blood goes on a specially prepared surface. That surface, scientific term for that surface is called semiconductor.
The semiconductor, like those used in electronic devices, is extremely sensitive, enough to detect the Lyme disease-causing bacteria, Borrelia burgdorferi.
The sensor is the product of an absolutely brilliant platform. The biosensing device itself was developed by Dr. Gil Shalev at Ben Gurion University. I have a tremendous sense of optimism with this test. We want people to know that we believe it's possible for this type of intervention to come to market eventually and to make a big difference in the lives of Canadians.
It is still under development at the University of Guelph, but eventually they hope to have small biosensors widely available at hospitals and doctors' clinics. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A live look right now, once again, at the Grand River in the Freeport area. As Karis was mentioning earlier, it may seem as though some of those levels have gone down a bit, but that doesn't mean the danger is over yet as far as flooding goes. Fast-moving river, lots of rain, and another turn in the weather coming up soon. Ashley's back in just a couple of moments as we look ahead to some possible snow for later this week and this weekend. Also coming up, artificial intelligence, real scams. A closer look at how evolving tech is being used to trick people out of money. But next, another defection. Prime Minister Carney's Liberal government inches closer to majority territory. The latest political maneuvering in Parliament right after this. All right, Ash is back with a look at our long-range forecast. We've been talking a lot about rain. We've been talking a lot about fog.
Yes.
I was talking to my mom earlier up in the Ottawa Valley. It was all about a major ice storm today.
Yes, I hope she's okay because they are getting hit pretty hard with freezing rain as we speak, and it's going to continue for a while.
Had some scattered power outages, but looks like things are back now.
Good.
But yeah, just a wild, wild day. And once this gets out of the way, we're looking at a return to snow later in the weekend.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Tony, but we still have over a week left before spring.
Technically.
Technically. So, yes, there is a chance that we might see some snow coming through over on Friday. But, you know, we've just got to get through the rain and get through these next few weeks, and then we'll be right into the thick of spring.
In like a lion, out like a lion.
Love it. Yeah,
right?
It totally was. Let's take a look outside this hour. It is a little bit murky out there still. The Grand River is flowing, and we will continue to see elevated water levels for the next few days, according to the GRCA. And that is because obviously we've had a ton of rain over the last 24 hours and continued snow melt. Now, all of that melting snow and that rain's got to go somewhere, and it ends up in our waterways. So do be safe if you are out and about. Make sure you're taking your time and away from water beds because it can be quite dangerous this time of year. Let's take a look at our future board. Give us an idea of what we're working with here. So this is the big band of precipitation that is plaguing most of Ontario this hour. We are seeing a little patch, a little clearing right now in Waterloo region. We've got a little bubble of clearing, but it's all around us still and will continue to be so for the next few hours. As we see just northeast of us in Peterborough towards Ottawa, that's where the freezing rain is really coming into play. So we really missed the worst part of this storm. Now, as Tony was talking, we might be seeing some flurry activity. That could start tonight. As we get into the overnight hours, temperatures are expected to dip below zero for the first time in a few days. That could see some of that rain that's lingering convert to flurry activity. That's going to continue to push through. Mount Forest might see a little bit extra tomorrow, but Waterloo region essentially in the clear until Friday morning. Then we're going to see a bit more snowfall at this stage come through. Now, depending on how the wind blows, if the temperatures rise a little bit higher, that might actually convert to rain. So we're keeping an eye on it. Right now it looks like snow, but that could change in the next day. Looking at temperatures across the country, starting on the west coast, 4 and rain in Vancouver, just over the Rockies and Edmonton, bit of sunshine and -1. Looking at 0 in Saskatoon and -8 in Winnipeg. Over in their nation's capital, where all that freezing rain has started, -1. Same with Montreal and Quebec City, also getting plummeted by that freezing rain. Fredericton as well. That's how far east this system is spanning. St. John's, sun setting there, and -3. Here in Waterloo region, it's a very comfortable 8 degrees, but again, that temperature has started to now drop for overnight. We're expecting that low to reach -3. As we get into tomorrow, we're looking at temperatures around 0 with flurries for about 40%. So because it's at 0, we might see rain. It really just depends on how that wind shifts. Looking at a sun setting now at 7:23 p.m. So although the weather might not be great, we're getting a little bit more daylight every day. Looking at our 7-day forecast for Waterloo region, by Saturday, we might see the return of the sun for a sneak peek, a high of -1. But by Sunday, we're looking at possible flurries continuing. Looking at Lanton, Kent, Essex, similar there. Mainly sunny for your Thursday, a high of 6 degrees. Sleet for Friday, a mix of sun and cloud, and 2 for Saturday. And lastly, in southern Georgian Bay, flurries for the next foreseeable future, unfortunately. You're looking at -3 for Thursday, -1 for Friday. By the weekend, though, temperatures and flurries subsiding slightly there. So not too bad. Okay, let's take a turn now to our Weather Watcher picture sent in from Leanne, who snapped this during this morning's storm around 4:20 a.m. at Heritage Park looking towards downtown Kitchener. It's not common to see lightning in March, but here we are, Tony.
I knew something was up. I knew something was up because I woke up.
Yes.
And I had the curtains drawn, but kind of saw the flash through the window, through the curtains and around the edges. And wow, that was something. I mean, that really lit up the night.
It woke me up. It woke me up around 4:30-ish, and I stayed up for, unfortunately, too long. Well,
that's almost wake up time anyway.
Yeah, that's
almost
true.
wake up time anyway. Did we have thunder with it?
We did.
Okay, so that must have been what woke me up.
Can confirm, because I heard it myself.
All right,
Yes.
and then the lightning kept us up.
Yes.
Thanks, Ash.
Thank you.
Ottawa's buzzing today after a fourth member of Parliament, this time a New Democrat MP, crossed the floor to join the Liberals. It puts Mark Carney now 2 seats shy of majority territory. CTV's Michael Couture has more on the warm welcome for the Liberals' newest recruit.
It was another hero's welcome for the latest opposition MP to join the Liberals. This time, it was a member of the NDP. Laurie Idlout says threats to Canada's sovereignty and concerns for her constituents in the north led to this decision.
There are a variety of many things that have allowed me to really reflect on this, and I'm very thankful to be so warmly welcomed.
Now, ahead of her introduction to caucus, the Prime Minister praised Idlout's work as an MP.
We've had conversations about what we can do, both large and small, in Nunavut.
The mood within the NDP today was decidedly more dour. Less than a week ago, Idlout spoke at an event in support of leadership candidate Avi Lewis.
I truly am nervous about my influence.
Surrounded by his caucus of just 6 members, interim leader Don Davies said any floor crosser should have to run in a by-election. He also criticized Carney for poaching other MPs.
Whether or not there's a majority government is fundamentally a decision of the Canadian people at the ballot box. And it should happen that way, not through backroom deals.
A similar sentiment was being shared by Conservatives who have lost their share of floor crossers in recent months.
To see her now go to the Liberals, who she's so readily criticized over the last number of years, to me it's a little strange. And I've seen comments from people in Nunavut that a lot of comments that aren't happy with her move.
Now, Carney's path to a majority government just got a lot easier. If the Liberals win 2 out of the 3 by-elections next month, they will secure it, nearly a year after forming a minority government. Mike Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
And with this latest floor crossing, Mark Carney has cemented himself as the Prime Minister who's convinced the most opposition MPs to join the governing party since Jean Chrétien nearly 3 decades ago. CTV's Rachel Aiello now diving deeper into what's driving Carney's ability to court across party lines.
4 floor crossings in just over 4 months. First, it was Conservative MP Chris D'Entremont, then Conservative Michael Maw. A third Tory, Matt Genereux, defected last month. And now, New Democrat MP Laurie Idlout has joined the Liberal caucus. To see this many parliamentary party switchers between elections is rare. But the Prime Minister and his inner circle say it's tied to the moment in history Canada is facing.
I'm not surprised to see colleagues which are doing soul searching and say, I want to be at the decision table.
The Liberals are also gaining support across the country, recently opening a 13-point polling advantage over the Conservatives.
It shows right now the trajectory is favoring Mark Carney and the Liberals, and they're opening up a significant lead.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
And while critics accuse Mark Carney of undermining the democratic process, this kind of backroom dealing has always been fair game in our political system, and it may not be over yet.
There are rumors of other Conservatives that might be in play, and I would assume that the government is lavishing those people with attention, trying to make that decision a little bit easier for them.
In order to beat Chrétien's record of poaching 5 PC and NDP MPs during the 36th Parliament, the Prime Minister would need to convince 2 more MPs to cross the floor. And with this Parliament now looking more stable, time may be on Carney's side. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
His name is Valor, and he's ready for the next chapter in his brave little life. Coming up, CTV's Alexandra Hollick on a pup who has won hearts and who's now looking for some place to finally call home. After some big jumps in gas prices since the beginning of the conflict in the Middle East, some relief is now expected at the pumps tomorrow. Dan McTague with Canadians for Affordable Energy says the price of regular gas will drop by 8 cents tomorrow and diesel by 12 cents. Gas prices started rising last week, soon after the war began, and Iran retaliated by closing the Strait of Hormuz to other nations. Well, police have kicked off Fraud Prevention Month with a warning about an increasing number of scams using artificial intelligence. CTV's John Musselman has details.
Artificial intelligence is changing how we work, how we live, and how we collect and share information. And Toronto police fraud investigators say criminals are using AI technology against you to steal your money.
Criminals are now able to gather information faster, personalize their approach, and impersonate trusted individuals or organizations.
Experts call it a sophisticated shift. It's no longer just about protecting passwords or avoiding suspicious links. AI makes the scams more believable, and the criminals want to gain your trust first, then they go after the money. Take a look at these numbers, including identity theft, social engineering, romance, and investment scams. It's costing between $50 and $90 million or more. This AI security expert recommends families, including parents and grandparents, use safe words on phone calls.
Family members that you're used to communicating with, I think it's pretty common to have some form of safe word that is a bit odd, that you can use just to verify that this is the real deal. I think also if you're communicating with someone who's using voice as the deepfake, it's always good to ask questions that are a little out of the ordinary, because AI generated deepfakes sometimes aren't necessarily all that good at handling questions that are out of the box.
Toronto police recommend these tips as well. Pause and verify. Do not rely on caller ID or voice recognition. Contact organizations directly. Be cautious of pressure tactics and limit personal information that you share publicly online. Today's news conference at police headquarters marks Fraud Prevention Month in the city. John Musselman, CTV News.
Okay, let's recap our top stories. Leanne Evans in studio with us. All kinds of heavy rain creating all kinds of hazards around the region tonight.
Yeah, Tony, flood watches and warnings remain in place along the Grand River watershed, while police are warning drivers potholes and fog are creating double the trouble on the roads. At one point today, parts of the 401 and the GTA had to be closed because of the flooding. The message is to take your time and make sure your headlights are on tonight. The Ontario government is moving ahead with a plan to overhaul conservation authorities across the province. Instead of cutting the current 36 authorities down to 7, the province now says there will be 9 regional bodies. The GRCA will merge with 3 other conservation authorities. Some critics worry the plan could undermine local decision-making and in turn put more control in the Premier's hands.
And from our digital team tonight, Leanne, more than 24 drivers facing charges now after going the wrong way on the 403.
Yeah, it happened after a crash near Brantford this morning that snarled traffic for hours. OPP say some drivers came up with a creative solution to get around it, and now 24 of them are facing charges. For more information on that, you can go to our website by scanning the QR code, downloading the CTV News app, or as always, it's ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
All right, Leanne Evans, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Turning now to an update on a story we brought you late last year involving a little puppy who lost the use of his back legs. His name is Valor, a mini poodle golden retriever mix who's gone through trials and tribulations and is now ready to find his forever family. CTV's Alexandra Hollick with this update.
This little puppy has made some big strides. At just 5 weeks old, Valor partially lost the use of his hind legs. He was surrendered to Hobo Haven Rescue in St. Jacobs, and CTV News met the pup in October when he was nearly 2 months old. A few weeks later, things took a turn for the worse.
He ended up in Toronto emergency due to inability to keep food down. He was crashing hard and fast.
It seemed like the puppy wasn't going to make it. After a series of tests and vet visits, Valor was diagnosed with myasthenia gravis.
It affects the muscles primarily, so his ability to swallow, his ability to walk like a normal dog, develop muscle strength, that type of thing.
There's no known cure for the genetic disease, but with the right food and physio routine, Valor is living up to his name.
And he's just doing really, really well.
Thanks to the help of donors and volunteers at Hobo Haven.
Hobo Haven has invested and raised a lot of money for his medical care. I think it's at this point over $20,000 that's been raised for him.
We're blessed to have a very strong village, but it needs more help.
The rescue says it's searching for more foster families and financial support so they can help dogs like Valor and others in need.
We cannot take any more than we have fosters and funding for.
Those interested in adopting Valor won't have to wait long, but they will have to meet some requirements.
As long as someone's committed to his feeding and med schedule and continuing, with working with his exercises to keep strengthening those muscles, he's not as hard as he sounds.
Valor will need a very special family, and he will give a lot back to them. He's a very loving little boy.
A loving little boy who's putting his best paw forward, despite being dealt a rough hand. Alexandra Hullick, CTV News, Elmira.
The Canadian Kennel Club has released its official list of the top 10 most popular dog breeds in 2025. Topping the list for the 32nd consecutive year is the Labrador Retriever. The Golden Retriever and German Shepherd followed closely behind. This year, the Poodle unseated the French Bulldog to reclaim 4th spot. And rounding out the top 10 are the Miniature Poodle, French Bulldog, Australian Shepherd, Havanese, King Charles Spaniel, Bernese Mountain Dog, and last but not least, the Shetland Sheepdog. A classic story set to a classical dance form. The new take on Pinocchio that's about to hit the stage in Toronto, coming up. A family favorite story is returning to the stage in Toronto just in time for March break. It's a new ballet version of the classic tale Pinocchio. Here's CTV's Pauline Chan.
English choreographer Will Tuckett first created Pinocchio for the National Ballet of Canada 9 years ago, but the new version is a bit different, including 2 narrators.
Pinocchio is a very European story, and we thought let's put its feet firmly in Canada.
In fact, the production starts out with lumberjacks.
Male and female, but they're very much lumberjacks. And we've got some beaver that appear in it, and we've got a moose who spends a bit too much time in the bar. But there's a moose there, we have a Mountie.
But the traditional characters are very much there. Pinocchio, Geppetto, and the Blue Fairy, being danced for the first time by new principal dancer Beck-Ann Sisk.
I see her as the magical thread that sort of connects the whole story together. She is Pinocchio's conscience at times, and then she's also just there to encourage him to be kind, brave, and honest.
Sisk says the dancing, special effects, and more make it a perfect introduction to ballet for youngsters.
Creative costumes, beautiful music. There's actors that speak on stage and sort of help narrate the whole story, so the kids are really going to understand what is happening.
What we tried to do was to make the Blue Fairy really the character of Jiminy Cricket.
There will even be an ASL interpreter at every performance.
And for families with special needs, there's an abbreviated performance of Act 2 in a relaxed setting on March 17th.
Pinocchio opens at the Four Seasons Performing Arts Centre on March 13th and runs through the 22nd. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
And we'll have more news coming up. First, let's check in with Ash.
Well, we're through the worst of the rain, but what will tomorrow look like with colder temperatures? I'll have those details coming up. Stay with us. Start your night off with E-Talk at 7, followed by Scrubs at 7:30, The Masked Singer at 8, then Fear Factor at 9. Cap your night off with Shark Tank at 10.
Tonight, car crashes staged for insurance scams.
That's the smoking gun in an investigation. You have the video clear as day.
What's driving the rise in deception and the possible connection to organized crime? Later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Home of Bounce Mornings with Angie Hill and Sarge. KW's Bounce 99.5. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
Good call. All right, we're going to check in now with Krista Simpson for a look at what's coming up tonight on CTV News at 11:30. Krista.
Well, Tony, we are keeping a close eye on the weather and its potential impact with a number of flood warnings in place throughout the Grand River watershed. We'll have more on the areas of concern and what to expect over the next few days between the melting snow and the rain we had today. That's tonight at 11:30. Tony.
Krista, thank you very much. Yes, when weather becomes news. That's
Yes.
Certainly been the week that
I was going to say, this has been the theme all week, Tony.
Certainly.
And, you know, we still have a few more days of it. So
Yep.
not too bad.
And tomorrow morning, though,
a little bit of an improvement.
I was going to say, we're kind of in the middle of things tomorrow.
So what I want everyone to look out for tomorrow morning, especially if you're up early, is potential black ice. Because we are going in from wet weather, warm wet weather, to freezing conditions overnight, below freezing mark. Although the rain is going to be stopped, the flurries should have stopped, it could still be very slippery out there. So just be careful if you're out for a morning walk or on a morning commute.
Good point, because just because we're in between systems
That's
doesn't mean we are free of any trouble at this time.
Unfortunately, we can't catch a break, maybe in June.
It's a gift that keeps on giving this month, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, finally for us tonight, here's something nice and beautiful to close the show with. While Manhattan welcomes millions of visitors every year, no question about that, there were some very unexpected ones who showed up in the water surrounding the Big Apple. A pod of dolphins found their way to the East River in New York City earlier this week. Experts perplexed at how and why they made their way to an area that they generally don't visit this close up.
It's believed this is the largest group of beaked dolphins seen there in recent history. Very cool. I could imagine a lot of New Yorkers looking out and going, is that a dolphin?
Oh, yes. I'm sure they were social media stars this week. Did you ever have any encounters with dolphins?
Lots of dolphins where I lived in Australia. Very cool, very up close encounters.
I had to rent a jet ski and go out in the Atlantic Ocean really early in the morning off the coast of South Carolina one day.
Oh, very cool.
But it was worth it.
Yeah.
Something about them.
They're magical.
They certainly are.
Yes.
We'll see you tonight. Krista's back at 11:30. Have a good night.